Yo, so if we are recording, then I believe...
We recording?
I think Leedz likes the volume of the headphones.
Very loud.
You like
Snuk,
that?
what up?
What we got today, Stiz?
Today, for episode 28, we have the man, the myth, the legend. He is not a businessman. He is a businessman. Make some noise for Leedz Edutainment in the building. Finally. It took a long time. But our people called his people, and now we got the big man right here.
Should have took longer.
Yeah, I know. I agree. And you'll notice his chair. Leedz deserves the throne. We had that throne custom made for Leedz.
Yeah, we got it right at Goodwill. Goodwill.
Leedz, what up, man?
What is the deal, Stiz?
Thank you for coming on, man.
Let's go, baby.
We appreciate it, man. We wanted to...
What's the shit mean? You're like the king of this shit out here?
No.
You're king of this...
I mean... Shit, you can be humble, but I mean, it kind of...
Being humble is cool, but...
No.
I mean, listen, when it
no
comes
kings
to...
out here.
When it comes to hip-hop promotion, I would say that Leedz is certainly the most visible. His name holds the most weight. He's been doing it, I would say, the longest out here.
And when you say
far.
doing it, for those that don't know who Leedz is or what he does, quick breakdown of what it is you do and the shit that you run and are in charge of out here.
You want me to...
Yeah, I want you to,
okay.
quickly.
So I am the CEO promotions company, Leedz Edutainment in Boston, Massachusetts. We promote most of the hip-hop shows at the Middle East. I've been doing it for about 15 years independently.
Oof.
Yeah, still here.
And you went the hip-hop route, like, specifically.
Yeah.
Like, you just came up as a hip-hop hit.
Yeah. I grew up in northern Massachusetts, Essex County, and then southern New Hampshire.
Now, but you don't discriminate. You got the rock shows cracking and shit, too, no?
Yeah. We booked that, too, but I started off with strictly hip-hop.
Yeah, because Snuk and I were talking about that yesterday, how, like, you know, so many people want to be rappers. You know what I mean? Like, everybody wants to be a rapper. Everybody wants to be, but, like, you entered hip-hop in a different way that I think a lot of people don't think of.
All right, that's what you were saying. I was like, yeah.
I want to be a
I think it's
hip-hop
dope.
promoter.
I think it's super dope that Leedz was like, yo, I'm going to be, like, in the hip-hop shit, but it wasn't as a rapper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I tried rapping when I was like 19.
Oh,
Of course you did. There we go.
Yeah, it came.
Freestyle with my friends, and I just didn't have the voice for it. I just wasn't good. So I was like, if I can't be the best at this, I don't want to do it. It was kind of narcissistic at the time. But
to think you didn't have the voice for it and now hear some of the shit that you hear nowadays, do you reconsider?
Nah, you know, man, you know, it wasn't... you know, I was a DJ, and then I was a DJ, then I tried rapping, and then I just went back to DJing, and it was just like... You know, when you rap, you either got it or you don't.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it's like, it's a God-given ability. So, like, I didn't think that I had that.
Preacher, choir.
So,
Yeah,
like,
no,
you know what I mean?
that's
So I was
very
like,
true.
you know, I was good at business and hustling. So, like,
There you go.
the business made more sense to me, and there was way more rappers than businessmen. So supply and demand, I was like, well, I can be this.
Are you serious? Like, you literally, like, because not a lot of people think like that, man. You know what I mean? Like, so...
No, they do,
like,
but it takes a...
So kind of like
takes a while, usually.
Yeah, like, so kind of like two questions. Like, were you kind of always good at, like, business? And was that, like, a conscious decision? Like, the way you just said, wow, there's a lot of rappers, but there's not a lot of businessmen. I'm going to go this route. Supply and demand.
You know, I was brought up by a hardworking family. So, like, working hard was just what you did, you know what I mean? So, like, whatever job I took... For years, I just worked hard at it, and you know, and if I wasn't inspired by it, I just quit. So like, you know, when it came to this, it was like, oh yeah, this is something I love, and I can hustle, and it was boom. I didn't really think of it. It was like, you know, I was a hustler. I was an ex-weed, you know, weed salesman.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Helping the community.
Yeah. So like, I understood hustle. So like, throwing a show is easy. You know, you pay the talent, you pay the club, you make the money on top, and then you hustle 100 miles an hour to get everybody to show up. You know? So it was like a good transition for me to go into that. So you know, I didn't really think at that point. I wasn't really even thinking about rapping. I was more of a DJ mixtape guy.
So when you first start out though, like with the promoting and shit, like you don't necessarily have all like the connections and shit that say
Who
you
did
do right
know?
now.
Yeah.
So like, how do you maneuver through that?
Well, I started working for. You know, I got my start at Metro Concepts, which was throwing a lot of shows. I don't know if you remember them, Snuk, but they were managing Lyft and Acro, and they were throwing a lot of shows at the Middle East.
Yep.
and I kind of interned for them on the street team kit, handing out flyers and hitting up the retail spots.
Oh, okay.
Everything Snuk still does. It's a kind of a forgotten art form with social media nowadays, but that's what it was back then. This, promoting shows with no social media.
Right. Yo, that's so fucking crazy to even think of.
I know.
Crazy.
That's so crazy to even think of.
Especially with the promoters now, who are promoters in parentheses that only will put shit on like,
social media.
Social media. They don't even know what that pot is.
Yeah, I'm that guy too. You know what I mean? I don't press up flyers. I haven't pressed up flyers.
But you were.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But you had to be though.
Yeah. Back then you had to go to other shows, stand outside with a bunch of flyers, hand them out, tape your shit up everywhere around the city, like Snuk still does, and you know what I mean? And maybe you get a write-up in the Phoenix or the Boston the Weekly Dig. Like that's really all.
Phoenix.
That's all you really could do back then. 88.9 would put you on the Night Watch.
R.I.P. 88.9.
R.I.P. So that was really your only avenue. And then MySpace came out, and that was like a game changer.
That was a game changer. Yeah.
And then Facebook came out, and that was a game changer. Twitter, I never really benefited that much as promoting shows, but Instagram, obviously, boom. So now it's like Instagram, Facebook. And that just changed the game. I could reach so many more people with just a click of a button than standing out in the rain and going in the snow and always have to go out at night. I mean, what a relief, So I have a lot of gratitude for social media in that extent.
Course,
it's a double-edged sword.
Yo, talk about your first show. What was your first show?
Royce the 5'9". First, my first hip-hop show, I mean, I had done a couple local things at All Asia, but my first Middle East downstairs show where's that bass coming from?
I think...
Is that going to be an issue?
We'll rock with it.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
We've done worse.
So,
we've been on movie sets, all types of shit.
Just in case. So we are backstage right now at Sonya / Middle East with Leedz. There are people in every room. There's artists downstairs getting ready to do a show. Artists upstairs to the fucking left of us, right of us.
Very busy man.
But we're going to keep it rocking.
I actually got a show downstairs going right now, actually.
Yeah, who is the Asian rapper, right?
Dumbfounded.
Dumbfounded. I heard he can spit.
I heard a dude, yeah.
Yeah, I heard he could spit. Yeah. So, Nickel.
I heard that. I heard he could spit.
No, so actually, I
heard he could rap.
Yeah, I don't really know his shit or nothing, but
heard he spits real well.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
He's a spitter.
In today's day and age, I feel like that is a compliment. Like, you know what I mean? Because I do.
Can you actually rap?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, seriously. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, like, it's refreshing to hear, like, no, someone can actually.
So that first one was Royce.
Yeah, first show was Royce the 5'9", cunning linguist.
Wow.
Tone deaf.
Wow.
Juice. I don't know if you guys remember Juice.
Juice. Yeah.
Battle rapper.
Yeah, battle rapper. Yeah.
One against Eminem back in the day.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And then what was it? The local act was Jake the Snake, who goes by
JDS.
He
was so big. I mean, when I was coming up, Jay was like big. I remember going to his album release.
Me and Jake actually met in Northeastern. We both went to Northeastern.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So then, we used to always talk about me doing shows, and he was coming up rapping. And I was like, if I ever get a first show, I'm gonna put you on. And he was the first opening act.
That's what's up. Also, shout out real quick.
He's doing a
podcast, does a podcast.
Right?
Yeah, it's called Damaged Goods. Go check that out. He's a beast.
Easy one to check.
Fitting.
So, did you make? How was it? Bust? Success?
Absolute bust.
Why?
Financial bust. Lost like $3,000.
Now, is that from the openers or just from the show itself?
No. It was the show. At that time, it was just lost money. You know what I mean? And
because you had to pay. Obviously, you had to pay Royce X amount of dollars.
I didn't really know how.
You weren't exactly running a tight ship like how you are right now.
No, I didn't really know what I was doing as far as like guesstimating, like what the artist was worth and what it was gonna do. Like I was overly excited. I was just like Royce the 5'9".
Just to book the show.
It's gonna sell out.
It's
gonna sell out.
Yeah.
Like every new promoter, every new show. Yo, selling out. Everything's selling out. You know what I mean? So
yeah, man.
And then it did didn't even come close. You know what I mean? But it was a great show. Like if you were a fan, like I was,
of course.
We had a great time that night until I checked the
end
finals.
of the night. Yeah.
And then I was broke. My savings were completely wiped out, and I had to go back to work because I had to go part-time selling. Well, actually, it was full-time selling cell phones.
So then how long does it take you in between the bust of the first show before you get back?
Full-time?
Get it cracking. Or no, even before you start to say, yo, let me try this again.
I tried it again. I just had another job because it was so risky.
Yeah.
All
right, I get it.
And then how long did it take from that point where you were able to be like, you know what? I can do this full time.
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. I remember back then it was just like, all I want to do is just do music full time.
Yeah.
Because, you know, at that point you just like, you know, you were just like working these jobs, you know, my whole entire life that it was like,
it's just not fulfilling.
Yeah. It's like,
not,
this is what I want to do.
Yeah,
it's like, this is what I want to do. And it's right there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's
one
like,
foot in, 1 foot out is the worst. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, I remember the Boston Globe interviewed me, and at the time it was just like, that was all I was saying. I was like, I just want to be full time.
Yeah.
You know, and I got to remember that now when I'm in the business, like
when you have those
like
bad
the ups
days.
and downs,
Yeah.
like it's like, wow, man.
What was that first show that was super successful, like over the top, where you were like, all right, yeah,
I can do this?
I think I can do this now. Going forward.
Master Killer No Said Date album release party with Inspector
Wow.
Deck.
Would have never guessed that shit.
I would have never guessed that either.
Well, at the time, I mean, you got to think this is 2005,
Okay,
4.
yeah.
So Master Ace.
So like Wu-Tang is still crazy.
Yeah.
And you know, Slane opened up on that show. I think Jake opened up on that show again. It was just like everyone came out that night, and I was like, all right, I can do this.
So
And did you ever manage Jake? Because I do want to talk about, because you end up getting into management a little
Yeah.
bit. I know you played a part in Slane coming up. I think I want to say you were behind the first White Man is the Devil project.
I did that. I put together the first 2 mixtapes. The White
So
Man's
how
Number
did
One
just
and
talk a
2.
little bit about how that happened, like how you link up with Slane and you're like, yo, listen, I want to manage you.
Yeah. So I didn't know attention to being a manager, and I really didn't know what I was doing when it came to that. I just I had met Slane just because I had heard about this guy that had been working with House of Pain, and I was a House of Pain fanatic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I was like, what? Who is this guy? And then I looked into his music. I knew one of his producers at the time, G Squared from the Creators, and he sent me he had done a couple joints with him, and Parker knew him, and I heard his joints, and I was like, wow, this guy is like,
I would love to hear those joints.
Never Gonna Die. You never heard that one?
I don't know.
It was his first single. And I was like, word. And then like, you know, we just connected instantly because we just had the same like of music. So then I was like, oh, I'm going to put you on these shows. And then we started putting on these shows and we built a relationship, and he started to build a buzz. And then it was like, all right, let's put the mixtape out. And like I said, I had already been making mixtapes for years. Like that was my bread and butter.
Yeah.
Like I had like,
Oh, you were selling those mixtapes too?
yeah, kind of.
$5, whatever. Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
like undergroundhiphop.com.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
They could sell like 10.
Yeah.
On consignment.
Oh, you don't have
And I get the $50 check.
like, oh, you don't have no bread here. Here's one for free.
I was living in Haverhill actually, making those things myself, just pressing them up on my computer in my grandmother's house.
Oh man!
Shout out the hometown, Helltown.
With the label maker.
Yeah, and shout out the days of like the label maker.
The
and
label maker,
CDRs
the CD
and
label,
shit.
and if you didn't put it on right, it gets stuck in your CD
Oh,
player,
my
and you couldn't
God.
get it out in your car. You had to get the tweezers.
I remember Archetype. Archetype was the first person that I started fucking with. That when I would get my, when I would get studio time and then I would leave, I would get the custom. You know what I mean? Like Stiz Grimey. I was like,
And I was doing these mixtapes with the, and like my whole thing was I tie in like movie samples, and I was in the transitions and all this like crazy stuff. So like that's what I was, because I was a movie head.
Like
So I
on
was
Slane's
tying it-
first
yeah,
mixtape,
that's
there
why
is
you
a
hear
lot
that.
of-
So that comes from you because you're a
okay,
huge
that's
movie.
cool.
Yeah,
That's
so I
cool.
had, so like by the time Slane came around, like I had like mastered the art of like making this like ride of like movie sample song transition. So and he had that fire, and I had all these crazy movies I was sampling from at that time, like. Because I was like in that same state of mind, like Requiem and Spawn, and like all these other crazy movies. Jacob's Ladder. I had all this like
Jacob's
I had this
Ladder.
image of what I wanted to do it when we called it The White Man is the Devil, and I just wanted to make it like this roller coaster ride through hell of like up and down, crashing at the bottom.
I love it.
And it worked. And it worked 110.
But I wish a movie head. Like, why not? Did you ever think of going that direction? Like, you stayed with the music direction.
Yeah, I always wanted to be. I always thought I was going to be like a movie director. Like growing up, like I remember taking, courses in English. And be like, what do you want to do? And I'd be like, oh, a movie director. But I'm not in L.A.
Right, no, it is
So,
what it
like,
is. It is what it is.
Yeah, so like that was more of a passion thing, and music was just more obtainable. Like like living in Boston. So
Why did he decide to call that White Man is the Devil?
Because we wanted to make it controversial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We wanted him to, because he was such a maniac at that time too. Like it was just like we wanted something that was like, wow, the white man is the devil, and then he obviously with drugs there was a connection with cocaine and the white man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely brings eyes to a project.
Yeah.
And ears, more importantly.
Yeah.
When you name something like that.
And we put that mixtape out. I think we sold like 10,000 of those.
Really?
In the streets. This is again before social media.
Yeah.
Right.
So like we were doing it like
Hand to hand.
Snuk style.
Yeah.
Hand to hand.
Hand to hand.
Hand to hand. No Spotify, no nothing.
No TuneCore, keeping track of everything.
Yeah,
and all
we
this
were
shit.
just selling it between we were all getting high and getting messed up back then. And we were just getting rid of them and dumping them. I mean, Slane must have. I think Slane probably paid his bills off those for a long time with no job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's real.
And I'd sell some at shows, and it was just. Then we did the second one, and the second one wasn't as crazy as the first one as far as the ride goes.
Oh man, I thought the intro to the second one.
I did do the intro.
Oh man, that shit was
intro was crazy.
Fucking hard.
I did the intros on both of them.
Yeah, and that shit was so hard.
Yeah, the second one was more like the insanity of it. But the first one, the music is so crazy because he's just coming to, you know what I mean? He's like, this is him making his mark, and he's like this crazy maniac, raw dude who had full of fire. By the second one, it was more like crafted songs, more like
musically, it was more.
It was technically darker in the sense of where his mind was at because of the addiction and everything.
He was getting deeper.
But as you go though, you learn how to make music
better,
just in general.
So it was
as the artist,
it wasn't as ferocious as the first one.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But it's still a great fucking thing.
But go ahead.
So anyways, that's how the relationship started. And then I started, I built him up and put him on shows, and then basically he outgrew me, because I was normal transition because
it's a beautiful thing.
I wasn't a manager.
Right.
Really. I didn't have any connects. I was a year or two in the game, and then he joined La Coca, and he was off and running.
So you just say you didn't have any connects. So then that's kind of like the other shit. Like when you're first getting started, and it wasn't a social media cracking either. How do you get a hold of some of these more national acts that you wanted to come into here? Like, what was your approach? I don't know if you were DMing people, if that was even out at the time or shit. Like, how do you get in contact or get the...
It was emails back then. I mean, it still is email, but back then it was
still the professional thing to do is the email. Right?
I didn't know really a lot of agents back then.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, it's just booking shows. They have an agent. You hit them up. It's still
you can just hit them right on the DM now or whatever.
No, it's just email.
Whatever.
Mostly they hit you because
we're
they don't
coming to town.
Right. But back then it was because a lot of these acts that I booked didn't have a lot of agents.
Right.
So they'd have a label that was working at that was doing both, or someone knew someone's manager, and I do it that way. And then slowly I got in with more agents the bigger the acts I got. But it was a lot of just who you knew at that point. You know what I mean? And it still is, but it wasn't much of a system back then.
And so over the years,
all over the place.
So over the years, you keep some of those relationships. So now when they're coming to town with their artists, they know. All right, we have Boston. It looks like
Dan Green. We did a lot of shows with Dan Green.
Dan Green. That name.
Let's not forget the infamous AZ show.
Shout out Dan Grizzle. What happened at the infamous AZ show?
The early Dan Green AZ. We booked him for a show. Middle East downstairs, packed, right? Just packed because it's AZ downstairs. It's like this. It's not really Dan's fault, but he booked it, and AZ comes out. Middle East, the Middle East, you're used to a crazy long set and everything. AZ comes out, does 15 minutes, bounces.
What?
Everyone's like, what? Rioting. Everyone's like, fuck that dude, blah, blah. Because, he was probably used to, I didn't think at the time, he was probably used to doing club show-ups.
Right.
Appearances.
Just do a song or two.
Just show up at a club and rock two songs. And so I think that's what he thought it was.
He probably thought he gave you guys a little extra. With the 15.
So he came through and did a 15-minute set, and people paid $20, and they were like, people pay $20 to see you at the Middle East. You got to give them at least a freaking half hour, 45 minutes, dude. And
you got to rock.
Man, that was a big deal. And poor Dan.
But they take it out on Dan Green heavy, right?
Dan the Machine Green.
Dan was just in the corner chewing gum, mad big.
I think Dan even ended up just throwing me money out of his pocket. Man, I'm sorry.
Oh,
because everyone, it was back then, it was forums, right?
Yeah.
So this is again not really MySpace, right?
Yeah,
right.
Forums.
So BostonRap.com. Everyone's like, screw Leedz, screw AZ, screw the Middle East, screw Dan Green, and that was the biggest thing for me.
That's so funny. And then how do you even respond to that? Oh, I guess in the forum
it came up. It was floating around for a while. That was the big first bad show where it was floating around forever, and undergroundhiphop.com was making a big deal about it. And even AZ it reached. I remember Core Mega hit me up and I heard about that stuff with AZ.
Wow.
It's hilarious. It was comical. It was funny.
Crazy.
AZ does 15 minutes.
That's so funny. Hey, there was a this was a few months ago, because like I said, we've been trying to get Leedz for a little bit now. And
Busy
when we
guy.
were first trying to get you, there was an Eminem flyer that was like making its rounds on
Yeah.
Instagram. I think it was like, I don't know, 99 maybe,
Yeah, I think around
98,
that. It's
99.
actually up in my office.
Really?
Yeah.
The actual flyer?
The poster.
The
I
poster.
didn't go to that show,
is
man.
so-
Governor
I
Pete.
didn't go to that show
I know people that
either.
went to that show.
Governor
Mike
Pete.
Styles performed
Yeah,
that, I believe. Who's Governor Pete? Who's-
Governor Pete, you know Governor.
Yeah, I remember the name.
So
yeah,
he
from
started
from back in the day.
He's
yeah,
actually
yeah.
before me. He actually was responsible for doing a lot of the hip hop shows before me.
This was like early ST, first being able to even come in Middle East.
Back when,
like when we was too young, they would have to mock
I think
us
it was
up and
like
shit.
Street was the
It was Street, yeah.
actors back then,
Street,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, it was Terminez Project was
Term
Street.
and Ed. I remember seeing them even before I was a promoter, just opening up. And but yeah, so Governor Pete did. He was a record label, he owned Detonator Records, and he would throw shows, and he was working acrobatic, kind of the same way I just told you how I was
Yeah,
working
right.
Slane. So like, he was throwing these shows, and that was one of them. And that was Eminem early.
Eminem rocking. Hold on one second.
Oh, we got a little. Yeah, all right.
Eminem rocking the Middle East, same stage that
I guess it was a
rocked on,
really
you
short.
rocked
From what
on.
I know, it was a really short set. He was like tripping on like ecstasy, and it wasn't
Because
really.
this is what 99 Eminem.
I think this- well, I think this is
My
like-
Name Is just came out.
I think
Earlier,
or like
right?
maybe before.
Earlier,
Maybe
97,
before,
98 maybe.
Yeah.
I think this is like right when he gets discovered.
I mean, this is like when literally like I Just Don't Give a Fuck was like
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that was like a single kind of.
Yeah, I don't remember when it was. I wasn't living even in Boston. I just remember hearing at Parker
Yeah.
would tell me that Eminem played the Middle. And so that was like the Middle East to me, like this place. When I came here in like '99, I saw Jerry the Damager, and it was packed all the way to the back. And I was like, "What is this place?"
It was like the Mecca.
It was.
You know, it
It
really
Remind me,
is.
Stiz. Mike Styles said he got an ill story from that night.
Oh, yeah, he
so when we
almost
get him
battled.
on,
He almost
yeah,
battled
we're gonna
Eminem.
bring that story. on.
But yeah, bro. I mean, even for me coming up as you know, wanting to be a rapper, like the Middle East was like, yo, if you're not performing at the Middle East, then you're not doing it. And
And
the
we
same
all
thing
knew
with-
that.
Yeah,
and
the
I'm a
same thing with your
978.
name.
You know, I come from we're 35 minutes away in
Helltown.
Haverhill, and
Is
you
it
know,
only 35? It's
you-
a little longer.
I know. Yeah, he'd be
Fuck
saying
35.
35, trying to get me to go up there.
Depends
I'm
if you
like,
hit
nah,
traffic.
that's like
Depends if you
45.
have traffic on
Yeah.
It depends where you-
495.
4555.
depends where we're going. We're going to Lawrence. It's a little closer. Haverhill.
Haverhill is definitely not 35 minutes. Lawrence might be 35 minutes, but not
All right,
definitely.
let's
If you're
say
doing
40
70.
tops.
I'm saying 45 at least.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and we're out there, and we knew out there that Middle East was the spot.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I
Middle East
mean?
was
Like,
the spot.
and that's without social media. We knew that.
Yeah, because I came to the Middle East in New Hampshire. I was living in New
Exactly,
Hampshire.
yeah.
I drove at the time I was in college at NHTI up in Concord, New Hampshire, and I drove all the way to Boston to the Middle East to see
fucking
Jerry the
deep.
Damager.
Hell yeah. Yo, talk about Peter Parker. So, Peter
Yeah, you mentioned Parker
is now
earlier.
a radio DJ. I think Go 90, 93, 5, 95, 3.
Something like that.
He's out in
I should know
Minnesota.
that
Some of those
information.
numbers.
He's doing his thing. He has now become
He's the man out there, by the way, yeah.
huge in radio.
Yeah.
You know, really is doing his thing.
He does everything too.
So how did you kind of come up with him? Like, were you guys
Yeah,
boys?
I mean,
like, how did
that's
that
kind of
happen?
where it all started as far as the love of hip hop. I mean, I was 12 years old. I had just moved from, Georgetown, Groveland area to, Sandown, New Hampshire. I'm in the middle of a really rural town, right? Like one, police station and fire, station in the same
Yeah.
building.
Right.
One convenience store, post office. And that's it. That's the
sounds like
town
it
I live
sucks.
in. That's the town I live in, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's in the school I went to was regionals in Plastown, New Hampshire, and like you had to drive a half hour just to get to school. So like I'm in this area, I don't really know anyone. I'm not really getting along with anybody. I come from an area where no one's even listening to hip hop. All of a sudden, I'm coming in. It's like 7th grade, and it's like the most materialistic era, and everyone's listening.
What's that,
to,
Diddy and shit? Or?
Listening to hip hop. No, this is like listening to like Crisscross and like
Okay,
all
okay.
that type
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember all the acts back then, but I'm like, I came from like a rock background, so like
Right.
I'm like, what is this? And everyone's dressing cross colors and this, that. And I am not fitting in. I don't have any money. Like we're kind of, we don't have much money, so I can't buy the good gear, and I'm not clicking in at all.
Yeah.
But I met Parker, and I heard him. I remember Ice Cube, The Predator, came out, and he had talked about it. And I had saw the poster, and I had bought the album I bought the whole album just based because I knew who he was, controversial wise, and I just saw like the poster with the Predator, the skull.
Just looked crazy.
Because
Yeah.
I had a rock background, I was like, oh, it's just wild. And I heard all the stories, and I had like the Ice-T Body Count album, and he talked about it. he was talking about it at like the calf before we went to class, and then I said that, and we just clicked right there, and then we just from there on we just like
That's
hip-hop,
crazy. I didn't
hip-hop.
realize it was
We
that
just talked
early.
about we just lived hip hop. Yeah. He was already big into hip hop, you know, with the Beasties and a bunch of other ones, Public Enemy, and it was like
It's crazy how shit like that happens when
and
you
we
just
just
meet
built,
somebody
you know
like
what I
that.
mean? And I, you know, we
Just off the strength of hip hop, that's your man. That's your man.
we
like,
had
for
seen
life.
each
It's
other
crazy.
before, but we weren't really friends. But
Yeah.
that conversation just sparked it, and it was like, oh, we talk about Yo TV raps every week, and
Yeah.
like all this other stuff, and talk about
Crazy.
albums. You know what I mean?
So that's-
I remember like the Run DMC Down with the King video. That was like huge. We were like,
You wanna be down with the
because it had everybody in it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
like, oh, these characters. We go to go see Who's the Man. back
Speaking
then.
of that,
so
we-
Who's the Man in Lawrence.
Oh, yeah.
Lawrence
Yeah,
Theater.
yeah.
Who's the Man? It was like three of us.
AMC?
Yeah, actually, it was packed that time. It was packed. Yeah, there
What were you gonna say?
I
speaking
completely forget, so keep going. But on the stuff, back onto some stuff. I just heard they bringing back Yo MTV Raps.
Of? Really?
And the picture that I saw was a still picture, and it had fucking Ed Lover on it and Dre. I don't know if they're
Really?
Dre's blind, dude.
yeah, I
Is
don't
he?
know if they're gonna be the hosts or not. But
Yeah, he's
the
blind.
picture they used was of them. But anyways, long story short, Yo MTV's Raps
They
coming
need
back.
to, bro.
I used to have to
because it's
record
not
it
what
because I used to
was.
have to record it because I couldn't stay up that late.
Yeah,
Put it
me
in the
too.
VCR.
Me too, yeah.
Oh my god!
VCR
I
plus.
remember. Yeah.
I was
Oh
super
my
young.
god, that's so funny, yo.
Yeah.
I think they need to bring back. It's just not like I remember every day before school I would watch MTV. Like I remember.
Give us
like,
something like a
Well, back-
basement or like
Yeah.
a something.
Back
along
then,
those
it was
lines.
really your only way to see it.
right, especially with
on
no
TV,
internet.
yeah.
Before
Or
then, Dr.
MTV,
Dre, Dr.
yeah,
Dre,
yeah.
the Chronic.
It was
came.
just TV, and the only shit you got on the TV was the Yo MTV Raps,
Yeah.
or if you had BT, obviously.
Yeah,
you know?
we got a little sound.
Nah, we
Yeah,
good.
that's all right.
Stuck on stuff, yo. Stuck on stuff always keeps
It's
it
all
rolling.
good. This is called doing it in the
So,
back closet. Of
That's
the venue.
it, bro. Yo, so was Peter Parker like the first guy that you hit up to host your shows? 'Cause
Yeah, I
that's
mean-
funny too. Like the hosts of the lead shows have almost become like a character in and
Yeah.
of themselves.
Right.
I would say with maybe Sly being my favorite.
Well, I
love
mean,
Sly.
the thing was with Parker is like, so we're like best friends this whole time, right? And like trials and tribulations of everything, like we finally get to this point, you know, and I start Leedz, and he's working with Hot 97 at the time, and he's finally getting his foot in the door over
Yeah.
there, and he gets a job offer to Minnesota, like a year after I
Crazy.
start Leedz,
Wow.
and it's like he's got to move.
Yeah,
That's the
you can't
thing
say no
that
to
sucks about radio. That's what I am so scared of.
So
yo.
like
I'm so
he's
scared of
gone, and like he was like, you know, you kind of like the yin and the yang. Like
Yeah.
I was the business, and he was like the people guy. Because
Yeah.
at that time,
Yeah.
you think my people skills are bad now. Like, my people skills back then were even 10 times worse. I can
yeah.
tell you.
Oh, that's
For anyone
funny.
thinking I'm bad now, oh my! If you knew me back then, some of you that do know what you're talking.
Yeah, I can definitely see Parker being the
Yeah.
one to handle
I
that
remember
shit.
Term calling me up, be like, "Why do you hate me?" I'm like, "I don't hate you."
Oh, that's hilarious.
But it's just my natural disposition. I was like, you know what I'm
Oh,
talking about.
shit.
You're from the 978.
Yeah, yeah.
If we don't know you, we don't like you.
Oh, that is too funny, yo.
But so yeah, he leaves, and then I'm like, you know, like that was like my world was rocked because I'm like, oh, now I'm on my own. I mean, granted, he always picked up the phone, but
He's not.
yeah. And then that's when
Right.
like Ricky
Yeah.
Mortis comes into the picture, hosting
Yeah,
my
yeah,
shows,
shout out
and
Ricky
he's
Mortis,
like a
yeah.
crazy juggalo, like zombie lover.
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
was hosting
yeah,
my shows,
yeah.
and he had a really
Yeah.
good voice. And then that, you know, and then he stepped away, and that's when Sly Young comes in,
Sly,
the super
yeah.
Jew,
The super Jew.
who just,
yeah.
you know, was a guy I met at the Prudential Center and became like one of my best friends. 'Cause
Really?
When I was selling the cell phones,
Oh,
I met him. He
that's
was
funny.
selling cameras.
At the
We
mall.
were next to each other, and he loved hip hop, and he'd started coming to the shows taking photos. And
Oh,
then
that's
he's like,
great.
and then he was like, "Oh, I want to host." And I was like, "You want to host?" I was like, "You don't really have the personality for
Oh,
this."
that's so funny.
And he just, you know, when Ricky left, he took over.
Who's hosting now?
We don't really have one anymore. It's
kinda
not
like
really
in
a thing
between.
anymore.
Yeah,
Champ
yeah.
Chuck does it.
I was
once.
gonna say, I seen Champ Chuck
Shout
do
out
something.
Chuck
Champ.
does it when it's a show that he likes and we don't
Yeah,
pump doing. But
yeah.
nowadays,
Yeah,
like,
he told us that on the show that it takes
Yeah,
a show that
yeah,
he's
yeah.
down
yeah,
with.
because a lot of times the headliners these days don't want him.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. It's
They
not
wanna
really,
just walk
yeah,
out?
Yeah, they don't want him.
Or they'll have their DJ
Yeah.
say, "Shit, I'm cool with," you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most shows don't. You know what I mean? But I grew up going to shows and like living with Parker. Like he was always hosting something, so like I grew up with it. So I just thought
Yeah.
that's always what it was.
Yeah. What do you think was like your most success? Like, maybe not even successful, but like a show that meant the most to you that you look back and like no matter what happens.
So, like, as a fan?
Yeah, like as a fan. You know what I mean? Like you
Oh,
just
as a
like
fan, okay. So like I've been blessed to book a lot of
Because
the.
I mean, yeah, bro.
At this point, he's pretty much had everyone.
He
Yeah.
brought everyone.
There's still a few on the bucket list, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Then follow
Yeah, I wanna
that
hit a
question up
bucket
with the
list
bucket
after.
list.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
RZA, I would have wanted to do a RZA show. I almost had. I came this close. A RZA
Wow,
solo
you
show.
haven't done that?
Yeah, I haven't done that one yet.
Wow.
I did.
He can be weird though, I heard. So that might be a
Yeah.
weird one to try to.
I don't know
get,
how
right?
good he is live anymore, to be honest, because like I saw his live show and I'm not hating on him, but it was very.
It's probably not that.
It
good.
wasn't like he wasn't doing the songs all the way through. It was more like a fan thing. You know, it was like he'd have the fan.
weirdo shit. Just play the fucking hits.
But dude, I mean, in the '90s, man, that man could do no wrong. No
He was
wrong
my
in my
favorite.
book.
He was my favorite member when I was a kid.
Yeah, mine too.
I ain't hating.
I think like him in the context of the group really works. Him as
Right.
solo is kind of like
Yeah.
he's too
Right.
much of a space case.
But I loved Bobby Digital when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I did,
yeah.
but-
Bobby Digital. I mean, any verse he made from 36 Chambers to Wu-Tang Forever is
Yeah.
just pure fire.
Yeah,
With
that
the great,
few year
even the
span
Grave
was-
Diggers
Yep.
right after. I mean,
Grave Diggers was fire too. Yeah.
Yeah, Grave Diggers.
anything he was a part of in the '90s, pretty much. Is
So RZA.
RZA on your bucket list.
RZA's on there. I mean, obviously, there's acts I can't do. You know what I mean?
Eminem.
Like Eminem, obviously Jay-Z. I
Right,
can't do.
right.
Yeah,
So it's, yeah.
Nas, it might be doable someday.
Yeah. Oh, I was actually just talking to the guy who runs the Hemp Fest. We've had him on, Philip
Yeah.
Hardy,
Yep,
the
yep.
Hardy Consultants.
Yep.
They were trying to look at Nas maybe for the Hemp Fest this year.
Yeah.
I guess he said 35,000 for 30 minutes.
Are we supposed to be
he's,
saying
he's
that?
not notoriously known for being great live, but he did. I gotta say, I was listening to this album. He just did like this classical music behind him.
Oh, this shit on PBS?
Yeah, the Kid
I
is cool.
DVR'd the fuck out
Yeah,
of that
it's
shit.
good. Really?
I was
Yeah.
What
lit
is
one
this?
night,
I
watched
didn't-
that shit was
I didn't
amazing.
hear about
He
it.
did the whole Illmatic album with like an symphony orchestra behind him. Shit was
that's
fucking
Which is
amazing.
crazy for
Yeah,
me
it's
because
super
he's
dope.
not notoriously known for being great live.
But
He
that was
did
a good show.
But I think he did he must have really like rehearsed.
First
that
show
one.
I ever seen Nas.
Yeah, I seen him.
Really? Wow.
The young boy getting it in.
Yeah, I mean,
And then so show that you're most proud of looking back.
probably I would have to say Pete Rock for a TJ premiere.
Oh my
Ooh,
God,
I missed
such.
that fucking-
Oh,
You missed
damn,
this?
Damn, that shit was crazy.
I did it
That
twice.
Shit, yeah, he did it
I
twice.
did it twice.
I was,
I was
at the
watching it
first
on-
one. I was at the first one.
I was
one was
watching the
crazy.
clips beyond heated that I wasn't there for that
Oh
one.
man,
the place
that
just looked
shit was
so
insane,
live,
bro.
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
hits. I mean,
Yeah, we had
Jesus.
about 80 ST members backstage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pub rush to the show. I couldn't get rid of them. Couldn't keep
Leeds
track
used
of
to
them.
love
How do you deal with that? How do you deal
The ST.
with?
I've learned to accept
terms
it.
like, yo, I'm gonna need
Listen,
a plus 19.
I've learned to accept the ST guest list after like 15 years. Finally, you know what I mean. I've learned to accept it. That's
we
what
come
it is.
through.
Funny.
Now it's just terms like give me plus 10 and that's all good. You know, but before that
Well-
it was like you never knew what you're gonna get. 20, 25. You never know.
Well, we would come
that's
20.
Then it's Snuk be coming in with like two, armfuls of merch.
Yeah. Somebody's got to do it.
Great.
But how do you deal with that? In an industry where you're dealing with a lot of personalities. Hip hop is a street kind of oriented
Yeah.
thing. Sometimes you're dealing with some real street people that don't care.
Yeah, I seen some shit go
like,
go
oh, this
on,
isn't
no.
kosher. You don't bring guns. Like, you know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah,
like,
I,
how have you navigated through that? And is there any crazy
For the grace of
stories?
God, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I did not handle a lot of things well.
You've almost
Yeah.
gotten in trouble a few times,
Yeah,
right?
definitely, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys know. But like I came from a street. I'm gonna say I was a super street kid, but
Yeah.
I sold like weed. So
Yeah,
like I knew how to do. Now I get a job in Denver, but it was an illegal activity
Right,
at the
exactly.
time.
Hey,
Yeah.
that was a great quote though. Like, I'm not saying I'm a street kid, but I sold weed, bro. That's all I'm saying.
It was I dealt with like
yeah.
I was going to Lawrence a lot, you know what I mean? I was going to Haverhill a lot.
Shout
so
out Law.
I knew like hustlers, how to deal with hustlers
Yeah.
to an extent, you know what I mean? So like I understand that, the mentality a little bit behind that. But the problem is that like dudes would show up with like entourages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's what I had trouble dealing with because I was getting yelled at with the club about like, you got too many people backstage and blah, 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 it's fire. Da, da, da. So like for me, I was like, I would always come from like, I would have to get real strict.
Yeah.
And like, and that
You
came
got to be that asshole now.
and I had to be that asshole, and everyone used to call me that asshole, so I was just that asshole. So,
Yeah.
but it was all really in just trying to keep the place safe and protected. Like I
Yeah.
wanted anyone to feel welcome, but at the same time,
There's
you couldn't just
codes.
go
Like,
backstage and cause a ruckus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And there was a lot of hectic crap, and it still can be, but it's at the end of the day, we're trying to just, do a hip hop show. But it's tough to navigate the egos. I think I've finally maybe got it.
Found like a balance.
And it's really just for me, just kind of being like, all right, man, you know what I mean? Just keeping it cool.
Is there anyone you don't do business with now? Because out of hate, either they hate you or you fucking hate them still? Or
not out of
from that
hate.
era
Not out of hate, because I've booked tons of shows with people I don't like.
Because money is money, right?
I don't, I've done that.
Put a smile on your face and get that money.
Unfortunately, there's acts that or promoters that shit has hit the fan with, and for whatever reason, it's just too much of a liability to have them back.
Got you.
So that is an issue.
Worst artist to do business with.
To do business with?
Who owes you money?
The game.
Really?
Yeah, the game.
Oh, that's too. Can we get a little backstory on that?
Yeah, the game. They took off. I don't know. Between.
Oh wait, you're supposed to be paying them. How the fuck did they?
Well, I get a deposit. I never got that back. I don't know if it was him or his shady booking agency at the time. I'm not going to name names.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing too. How do you know ever?
I mean, generally I'm pretty good. I don't really get burned in this situation. I was misled.
Straight burnt.
And unfortunately, I got burned. But
that's funny.
But I have a pretty good track. It's just like,
it's a good track record, so that's
when you're selling weed once in a while.
Yeah, you gotta.
Once you're selling weed once in a while, guys, you gotta front somebody. He's not gonna pay you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You never get that 40 back, but you never deal with that piece of shit ever again in your life.
Exactly. So maybe it was.
Obviously, I wish it was a smaller number, but like,
game numbers,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, dude, if you look at like over the course of my career, like
it's
how many times that has happened? It's like once. You know what I mean?
So somebody from Game Camp hits you tonight and wants to book something at Sonya's.
Hell no.
Hell no.
The answer's no.
So you guys will never see a Game.
And like I don't like, to be honest, I really don't even know what the situation was.
Game might not even know.
Game's manager or the booking agent at the time. Like I'm mad at them both.
Right.
But I can't even say to what effect it was, because I made the mistake of trusting the agency, and it's really on them to deal with the artist in that situation. So I don't even know what was there happened. But I hold them both accountable, and I wouldn't do business with both of them. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah. What do you feel about the longevity of what you're doing right now? Like, is this a viable thing 10 years from now, 15 years from now? What you're doing, there's no 401k, there's no health insurance, there's no benefits.
No, there's health insurance. You just got to buy your own.
Oh, you got, of course, yeah. But it's not like you work a regular 9 to 5 job.
It's Massachusetts, you got to have it. You all should have it.
Yeah.
I need to see all your cuts.
I just mean like, you don't work a normal 9 to 5 where, you're full time, you get benefits. Like, so where do you see yourself like in like 10 years?
Well, right now it's not just Leeds. I also work here at the Middle East. I'm a manager.
So you've ended up becoming.
Yeah, I'm becoming an employee here, and like, I do the Middle East management, and then I also do Leeds too. So like, it's not so reliant on just Leeds, which I prefer, because I don't have to. It's not so stressful, because like being independent, man, like, if you run your own independent business, especially in this business, in this climate, man, it's it's a lot of.
Not easy.
It's not easy, man. You know what I mean? And I've been lucky and blessed, but like having both is good to have.
Absolutely. Do you see a change like from the hip hop? Like what do you think about the hip hop that's out right now, and where the state of hip hop is? Someone that's been really involved in it for 15, 20 years.
I mean, I've been listening to hip hop for what? Almost, 92, so that's what, 26 years?
Yeah.
Wow, you know what I mean? Like you think about that,
and it's got to be different for somebody like you who's to differentiate the fan shit. We know you come from real hip hop shit as a fan, and then but also you gotta book shows, so you're gonna fuck around and book Bad Baby if you gotta book Bad Baby.
Bad Barbie, I think.
No, it's Baby.
It is Baby. All right.
Pull up
Stiz is girl. Stiz.
I'd smash. I'm telling you, I'd smash.
Pull up or get dropped, ho.
So she's
now, you fuck with this shit or what?
I don't listen to it, but it ain't about
I know
me.
I don't ride around listening to it, but
I mean,
did that show already happen?
No,
or
it's
happen?
next month.
It's next month.
But
Stiz wants to open so bad just so we can talk to that girl.
I do.
Yeah. She's like 16.
She's like 15. We found out how old she was on the show.
Oh yeah,
and he was still with it.
That was the most. Actually, what's funny about that show is that's the most hate I've gotten in a long time.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it.
Like online.
Oh my
dude,
god.
like,
fuck you, Leeds. Why you bringing this bitch
Fuck
here?
you, Leeds. You ain't hip hop.
Yeah.
Leedz ain't hip hop no more. It's official.
And these grown men are saying awful things
I
about this
know.
16-year-old.
It's so
I was like,
crazy.
man, dude, like some of you guys are old. Could be your daughter.
I
you
know.
what I mean?
It's so nuts.
And I was like, and I didn't say that,
No,
but
of
I'm
course.
thinking
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
and
yeah.
like.
While we're on it, I know Stiz was loving the video that dropped this week of Bad Baby
She was-
stepping to Whoa Vicky.
Yeah, so there's like another girl that's
Yeah,
kind of
no,
like this
I'm-
bad
you're
body
up on
thing
that,
from
I'm not
Bad
hip.
Baby.
Nah,
yeah,
you're hip.
yeah.
No.
Her name's Vicky, and she is fucking ratchet. She's super ratchet. And a
That's the girl
video
that
came.
took the thing to prove she's black, but she's dumb white.
Oh, yeah, she's always
she
like,
did
I'm
like one of
black.
those answers. She thinks she's like, I'm fucking black.
So Vicky and Bad Barbie like met somewhere, maybe at Coachella. I don't know where the fuck it was, and it looked like Bad Baby punked her.
Stepping to her, right?
Yeah, Bad Baby
Bad
punked
behavior.
her. Yeah,
Love it. So she's
Hey,
coming to the Middle East.
We were listening to that joint on the show, and it's White Horse, Hi Bitch.
yeah.
That beat goes hard,
Yo,
bro.
Middle East gonna be lit as fuck when
It
she
really
does that.
will
shit.
be. Watch.
It's pretty much sold out.
Ha!
Yeah.
Look at that.
But that's the thing. Like, okay, so I'm a guy. I come from like hardcore, like East Coast,
Right.
boom
Boom
bap,
bap.
right, or like West Coast, Dr. Dre,
Real shit,
and
yeah.
straight out of Compton, NWA. So like when by the time I start my company, those acts are still relevant. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Well, obviously those are huge, but
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of these acts I grew up are still relevant. I can still do them, but over time.
Now it's
They
time to
don't
switch.
perform, they don't tour,
Yeah.
fan bases
Yeah.
go down. And then I think the shift was like probably like 2009 or 8. I remember booking like a Little B show. And that was like blatantly like I'm booking a hip hop show that I don't really listen to the music.
Yeah.
Right.
And
That's more of an Instagram style
and
show.
then
than
that
a
is
hip-hop
when
show.
it's like I notice like I'm starting to book all this stuff that I don't really
So
necessarily
even Bad Baby,
like.
you're basically booking Instagram reality stars to do music at music places.
But he's
Not
not,
you, just like
but
promoters in general, yeah.
Yeah,
So
society.
like hip
has
hop,
done
society,
that.
the sounds and the fans changed, and like as
Yeah.
you're a promoter, like
You either change with
you
it or
change
you get
with them or
lost.
you don't do it.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean. And at
1000%,
that
yeah.
point, it became more of a business.
Now, would you ever be at a show like that to check it out, like one that you wouldn't normally be at for a fan?
I pop my
Yeah,
head in.
you
Probably
pop
heading to see how lit that shit is. She's gonna have this shit lit. I
you-
follow her on IG.
Stiz, Snuk, you say lit.
Yeah, I'm in the new.
Yeah,
Well,
no, lit's acceptable.
we're in the
Lit's
new.
acceptable.
It's gonna be lit AF. Well, I thought we was in the new
Oh, it's
generation.
lit
right now.
AF, bro. Lit AF.
I'm telling you, that
I still have yet to say it like with like not
Like
referring-
meaning it. Yeah. Like, yo, that shit's lit.
Like in real life, I don't say the
I'm
shit.
not mad at
but that
anybody
show is
saying
gonna
it.
be lit AF.
I still
no,
like
I
packed.
watch.
The show's gonna be packed.
Packed.
I'd rather say hot. Show's hot.
Yo, how come Leeds didn't get the Prime 2 release? I think I was.
Oh, it was
looking
too
at the
big.
thing-
I think it was too big for me. To
Yeah,
be honest.
they are.
I
They're
mean,
starting to get
it
big,
sold
yeah.
out last time, and then you see that. you
Humble
know.
McGillicuddy over here.
Yeah, well, trust me, I wanted it, but I asked.
Yeah.
I asked about it. I didn't get it,
Yeah.
but you know,
I think Paradise ended up.
yeah, the parents. I mean, they sold out. I mean,
Yeah, of
when you
course.
sell out the Middle East,
Yeah,
your
it's a
next
big show.
your next move is
There's
either going to be
Paradise.
Paradise or Royale,
Yeah.
or bigger, depending on how buzz goes. But like you know, that's a natural progression. And as a promoter, like I you know, I have to kind of just watch that go.
Yeah.
Like they'll go up. And then they'll come down back to us. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, that's true.
That's
Yeah,
kind of
that's
really
true. Yeah,
how
that
it
is
goes.
It's true. That big shit only lasts for so long.
Yeah, I mean,
and then-
hopefully it lasts for them, but like
Yeah.
you know, we get them on the way up and we get them on the way down.
Snuk, we definitely want to sneak some stuff in here before we wrap up, and then also Leeds has a new project in that
Yeah.
that we got to promote. But
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, I don't know if either of you, Snuk, because I don't think we've talked about this either. I think it just happened in the past week. The Joyner Lucas statement. I think he was on like Hot 97.
Oh, about
he was
Boston
on,
or whatever?
Yeah, he was on somewhere, and he basically said, I think he basically said like, nah, but there's nothing in Boston. Like there's no scene in Boston.
I actually posted it.
no music
Oh yeah,
scene or
you
whatever.
did. Yeah.
So he basically said there's no scene in Boston and this, that, and the third and whatnot.
Then he corrected himself though, didn't he?
He did-
With another statement?
Yeah, he was like, listen, I'm not saying that there's not any dope artists. I'm saying that this shit isn't fucking New York and LA, which
Right.
it's not.
Like meaning you can't just
It's
stay here
not.
and think you're gonna
there's
like
no
blow
record
up.
labels that are fucking based
There's a
on
lot of
here.
truth in what he said though.
Yeah,
Well, I think
that's what I think.
you know I think there was, but I think that the problem was he just didn't articulate it the right way.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Because he's right. Because I agree. There's not enough industry jobs.
Yeah,
in this
exactly.
city.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
there isn't, and there's not. And without those jobs, it creates less opportunity. I totally agree with that. But when you come out and you say there's no Boston scene,
That's a very
that's just saying
A lot of
you're
people's gonna take offense to that.
You're discrediting. I don't really take it that personal. but,
Dart
like,
Adams did. Our homie Dart Adams took
Dart
it
did,
very
yeah. I seen his
personal.
tweets.
I mean, I'm a man that I believe in action proves, words don't. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like, but you're discrediting everyone's kind of hard work. You
Yeah,
know what I
for
mean?
sure.
Right.
And like,
No matter on what level.
for sure.
You know, I've been around a while, so I know not to take that stuff personal, but I think people got mad because of that, because you can have a career in Boston. What makes me upset is that by saying that, it discourages people from trying. You know, because they're like, oh, I don't want to try. And what we need is more people trying, creating jobs, you know, entrepreneurs trying to create more opportunity, because that's what we need. And when you see something like that, you're like, oh, there's no chance, I got to move there.
And I actually think it's more cracking now than it's ever been.
I think so too, yeah. Do you think that?
I think I think that the technology has made things a lot more. And then like
that may be why, but it still is a thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's. I think it's grown. I mean, it's definitely grown, man. I mean, it was very limited amount of stuff going on back in the day.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
you know?
Same names at every show.
Same names at every show, and there was a lot of pressure. You know, I remember feeling the pressure of trying to have to book all these artists, and I just didn't have as much room.
Yeah. But how did you end up getting Sonya now? So we're in the back of Sonya. It's like attached to the Middle East. This was the old TT and the Bears?
Yeah. This is a new room at the Middle East. This is the back room of it. And
Sonya was your baby, right? This was your.
Well, I originally started. It was my first job at the Middle. Well, not my first, but my second job at the Middle East was to be the manager of the room. So like I overseed the whole development of it, and you know the renovations and everything. And then I was going to manage this, and then I had to move downstairs and manage it downstairs because one of the managers left, and I don't manage this room anymore, which is kind of it was just sad to me, because I was like, it's a brand new room. But
this is going to be your shit.
But like, you know, the downstairs, I have so much history in that room that, like, you know, I mean, this just
that's
legendary shit down there, man.
That is such a legendary spot. So talk about you know, over the years of you being this promoter, you've also put out projects. I was on one of them. I think it was the Write-Off.
Yeah.
What's it called? I think number 2.
That's what you were doing. What you were doing
when I was actually doing.
What was
music.
the name of that song?
Faded. Faded was the one that got on there. Thank you. Leedz has always been very good to me, and I would never have a bad thing to say about Leedz, because I think as I've gotten older, yes, certainly.
I got two bad things to say about Leedz right now. I'm not on that project or that project.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you never put any music out.
No, he just put out an album.
Nah, that was 2016.
Yeah.
Oh, it was?
2016.
Stuck been in the game 15 years. Just put out his first album last year.
But and I'm not saying
one album
that.
in.
I'm not saying
It'll be 2 albums in after this Saturday. Leedz,
all you could get from Snuk was like a feature on like a term track. That's all you really got.
It.
Yo, but I'll tell you what, I eat off them shits.
I mean, you are talented, so I ain't front.
A whole album one day next Saturday.
Yeah, I'm in that.
I'm gonna document it.
Oh God.
But maybe I did it first, but as I've gotten older and I've really looked at things, and as I've developed this personal relationship with you, I've come to really, you know, see things from your eyes. But I don't want to get too far off track. But so talk about this project that is it out now? It's about to be out.
Yeah, no, okay. I put together this project called Eastern Standard, which was a compilation I wanted to do that wasn't just a Boston thing, because I had done tons of Boston compilations already. Yeah. So I didn't want to do something that was different, and so I put this thing out, and it was. So basically, the goal of the project was to work with different artists from each one of the Eastern Standard Time Zone states.
Oh, I dig it.
I started this thing with the Archetype, and because he's just such a beast in the studio, he could just craft.
Does Archetype produce every song?
Pretty much everyone except Teddy Ruxpin did 2.
Oh, yeah.
Again, so I wanted like East Coast producers, even though Teddy's in LA. He's from here.
He's from here.
And his sounds pretty much.
Bananas.
Yeah, he's crazy. So anyways, I wanted to do that. So I would find these artists that I liked, and I'd come to Archetype and I'd be like, listen, I like this artist. Can we make something for them? He'd either have one in the stash or make something new, and I would send him a few, and we just started crafting the project, and came out great, man. It was really just a really organic thing, man. Like it was, everyone was really into it. No one really said no. I think one artist said no, but other than that, everybody else was like, yeah, this is great, and it was really just. It took longer than I wanted it to take. It ended up taking like 2 years to do.
Really?
These type of shits take time. I know from Deadeye trying to put a thing together. It's the same thing if you're compilations, if you're a DJ.
Man, compilations are tough to do, man, because you're waiting on this.
It take a few years.
You're juggling like 20 balls in the air at once. You know, and then I wanted to mix it. I mixed it all on an SSL board with Pete Boards up in up in New Hampshire, and I had it mastered. So it was like, it wasn't just like Arc just mixed and mastered
And then
right
boom.
there. It was
Yeah,
like, I
you
gotta send
really-
it there, and I
yeah,
gotta
no,
wait on
yeah.
the approval and the adjustments and that, and I gotta get it mastered.
And I'm sure you're gonna hear that though in the final product. I'm sure
Yeah, it was great.
sounds
Yeah,
very good.
Sounds great. I
Now,
wanted like a really like warm drums hitting vibe, and it's like the project is like East Coast based sound with like more focus on like lyricism and like lyrics. And the biggest reason why I did it was because the internet nowadays has destroyed all types of like regional sounds. So like, you know,
So true, yeah.
so like dudes can rap like they're in the South and be from Boston. So like I wanted to kind of go
Done
back
that
to,
shit for years.
I kind of want to go back to that, like just kind of regional
that's
sound.
East Coast
Yeah,
rap
you
right
know, I
there.
kind
That's
of wanted
West Coast. That's
wanted
South.
that to come back.
Now, I'm looking at a sneak peek of this shit right here. I see Chris Rivers.
Yep.
I see Ransom.
Yep.
Right Hook, Slain.
Yep.
And then who is it? Copyright. We got a Granite State. Wow. All right. So there's a bunch of names on here that I'm also unfamiliar with.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, those are and that was another point of it. You know, to make you familiar with them.
You wanted to showcase people from certain places.
Definitely areas, and you know, some of the states where I didn't really know anything about. You know what I mean?
How
Like,
many
made it a
states are
point
there?
to-
How many states are there in the Eastern Standard Time Zone?
no, the exact number I don't know, but it's like from Maine out to Michigan, all the way down to Florida. So
Wow,
like,
yeah.
you got like Maine, all of New England, right? And then you got like Michigan, Indiana.
Wow.
You
How
know,
did you connect with
Virginia,
these people?
Baltimore? I mean, Maryland.
Shout out to Dinosaur Burp for having the
That's
ill
West
name.
Virginia. West Virginia. They were the
ill name.
toughest. I couldn't find anybody in West Virginia. I found
Word.
that.
So you were literally like, all right, I need someone from West Virginia.
South Carolina, North Carolina.
How were you looking?
How did you look it up? Like online?
Yeah.
Part of Kentucky is like half of it's in Eastern Standard.
that's so
and the other
funny.
half is in like Central. You know, and
So did you just start Googling?
Yeah, did you just
West
Google?
I
Virginia
went on the
hip-hop?
blogs. I went on the blogs a lot, to be honest. I went on Two Dope Boys and searched. I would type in the states if I didn't know.
Oh, you can do that shit?
Yeah,
just search for the hip hop
Yeah.
by the
state.
agent?
Yeah. So I was like, because Two Dope Boys, they would mention where I was from. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'd have to Google search
Right.
it. Who is this? I'd have to do my research.
You know what's funny? Blogs aren't like 5 years ago. Getting on like a Not Right or a
lot more
Rap
major,
Radar,
yeah.
like I was like, wow, you could really fucking, make yourself a career off that. I can't tell you the last time I checked the blog.
I still check in. I do this.
I only check them shits when I'm on them.
I do. Yeah.
To be honest, yo.
I check Two Dope Boys. That's pretty much it for hip hop. But like the music is just like the music has changed so much.
Yeah.
It's not really on top of it. Mostly I'm on my like Spotify, iTunes, and just checking out what's new that drops.
So how are people going to be able? When is this project going to be released, and how can
Comes out
people
May
get it?
18th, available everywhere, streams.
But you have an album release
Yep.
party for it as well,
the
right?
release party's on June 2nd.
Who's headlining Slain?
Well, it's kind of like it's not like really a headline thing.
I see what
It's
you're
more
saying,
like
yeah,
Slain,
everybody rocking.
Chris Rivers, Spose, Mega Ran, Jarv from Vermont.
Now, Stuck on Stuff in the building for that one, or what are we going to do for that one?
Yeah, we got to be in the building.
Yeah, you guys got to show up at least.
We got to show up.
We'll give a report on Stuck on Stuff of how live that shit was, how lit that shit was.
Talk about why I was on a. We did like you did, obviously, but I was a part of it. We did what was it called? In the summer, you did it. I was on it. Best of Boston.
Hip Hop Fest?
The Hip Hop Fest.
Yeah.
We did you did like a Boston Hip Hop Fest. You tried to get like everyone that was popping. How come you don't do that? I thought it was such a great. I had a fucking great night. It was like full of camaraderie and like. I had a great time.
It's tough, man. You know what I mean? Because I want to do it and I want to do it right. And dealing with everybody's artists and their availability now, it's just kind of tough to get it all on one page.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm still thinking about doing it, and if I was to do it, how I would do it differently, because it is. It's just not very easy to do, and then the scene nowadays is more individualized.
Yeah.
It's not really a collective like we talked about with
Yeah.
the regionals. It's like you don't need to do that as much anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like everybody's really as connected as they used to be, like when we were doing them before, or even like when I used to go to them when Governor Pete was doing them. Like, the scene had to stay together. It doesn't necessarily have to stay together anymore for people to be successful, and you're seeing that right now.
Well, absolutely. I mean,
not that it's bad. It's just that
it is what it is.
technology is made.
It is what it is, because if you look at some of the most successful rappers that are coming out of Boston right now, you'd say like, I don't know, Token, Joyner Lucas, Cousin Stiz. Let's just say those three.
Okay.
I've never seen those three do a Middle East show. You know what I mean?
They've They've all played.
They've all rocked here?
Token's played the Middle East before. He's rocked the upstairs. Stiz rocked the upstairs and the downstairs.
He had his
Who was the other one?
album
Joyner Lucas.
Joyner.
Joyner never played the downstairs, but he opened up. He's from Worcester, so he would open up on some of our Palladium shows.
Yeah, because you do the Palladium too.
The bigger stuff. Yeah.
And Millie's been out. Millie's rock.
Yeah, Millie's. I've seen Millie's.
Millie's I mean,
rocked.
you kind of have to play. Middle East is kind of a rite of passage.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So,
Snuk, any stuff you want to touch on before we wrap
Pause.
up? Yeah,
Pause.
I know that was super
Yeah,
pause. I'm sorry, no homo.
Members of R. Kelly's inner circle resigned
Oh, I seen that.
after the latest accusation of drugging and infecting a 19-year-old with an STD, as well as grooming a 14-year-old to become his sex pet.
Yeah, and basically what I seen a lot of people saying is, why the fuck did it take you this long to now resign? We've been knowing he's been peeing on people for 20
we were talking bucket list earlier with Leedz. He's number one for me bucket list of the fact that people don't. The fact that I've never seen an R. Kelly show for people that know me is insane.
Yeah.
and so whatever, bucket list number one is Kells. And I wanted to ask you, did you ever deal with Kells or his people in any way?
R. Kelly?
Show-wise, yeah.
No, it was way too big for me when I started.
Yeah.
All right, because I know when he just came around now, I want to say it was Foxwoods. It was one of those type of places.
Yeah.
Those
like
are still like...
Yeah.
No,
Those
that
casinos
whole,
are
that whole
crazy,
scandal,
right?
that pretty much whole scandal hit right when I started throwing shows.
Really?
The original shit, the piss
See?
and all that
So
shit.
that was a long time ago, and now these people are just now stepping away.
He's still fucking with shit. I don't know. Kanye West announced his 7-song album, and then another one with Kid Cudi the week after. You see that, Stiz?
No, I did not.
And
I'm
then
always open for new Kanye music, but I
Always,
will say
always.
he jumped out the window yesterday or the day before, and he said, "I like the way that someone thinks." I forget who this girl's name is, but from what I read, she's pretty much like a black Tomi Lahren. Do you know that blonde girl? She's super right wing. She's like just constantly.
But she's
talking.
a black girl that's super
She's
right
like,
wing.
yeah,
or
the
something.
same thing. She's
And
like
he
the same
said
thing.
that he fucks with her.
Yeah, he was like, "I like the way that girl thinks."
I don't like the way that girl thinks,
a
but
lot
I
of
fuck
people
with
are
Kanye
thinking-
music all
I
day.
mean, don't forget too, Kanye was the same person too that when Trump was getting ready to go in office, there was fucking Mr. Kanye West walking in there for a fucking meeting. Remember that?
That's right. You forget about that shit. Yeah,
I
it's a
don't
weird
trust
dude
Kanye.
though.
I don't trust Kanye.
It's a weird
but Kanye
dude.
don't give a fuck about us. Kanye don't give a fuck about you. Trust me when
he's
I
in
tell
Calabasas
you. He's selling
with
you
the-
a $100 T-shirt
Come on.
with holes in it, bro, and like he don't give a fuck. He's just taking your money. But he
Well,
makes great music.
But you'll check for the Kanye
Absolutely,
West 7-track
absolutely.
album.
Yeah, absolutely.
He also announces a new Pusha T album for May 25th.
Oh, I seen that. Yeah, I'm definitely checking. Do you ever get Push here?
I've done Clips back in the day at Harper's Ferry.
That must have been dope.
Yeah,
it was
that
both
was-
of them.
Yeah.
Clips was kind of on its way out at that point. You know what I mean? They were like legendary, obviously, but they weren't really
Like the
they sold out.
underground.
Obviously, sold out. at
I've
Harper's
seen
Ferry.
what's his name? The
We
other
can,
one.
I came.
Malice.
I had
Malice. I seen Malice at A3C just sitting down selling his book.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he found God and whatnot.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
really cool.
something along those lines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's rapping all about it. But I had Pusha T booked downstairs, but ended up getting canceled.
Wow.
That was the closest I got.
You're a big movie guy. Can't leave without talking about some movies. What were your favorite movies of this year?
3 Billboards.
Oh, how fucking good was that?
Should have won Best
movie?
I
Picture.
still didn't see it yet.
What
Stiz-
ended up
Stiz
with
told me
Shape
to.
of Water?
Shape
right?
of Water was good, but
But it
Mersex.
wasn't. Yeah, it was
Mersex,
Mersex.
yeah. We had a
bro.
Mersex episode,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was so dumb. Like literally showing her having sex with that thing. I was just like, what?
I don't think they actually showed it. you know.
Yeah, in the
They showed him
tub,
naked,
yeah,
but it wasn't
they
like
showed-
you
I'm
didn't
like,
see like
Yeah, but it's still
Packer
Mersex.
going
amphibian. You didn't see any genitalia.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
should.
It was too much.
If they're
for
gonna
me.
go
It was too
Mersex,
much.
you go full Mersex.
All right, so 3 Billboards. Did you see A Ghost Story?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you need to check that out.
Yeah,
I'm
I saw
curious
the
to see what
reviews
you
are
think
crazy
about
on
that.
it. It's just
You either love it or you hate
it.
it.
Just looked very. It just didn't grab me. It
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
I don't know.
The time that like it's very deliberately paced.
I'm trying to think what else I saw here
and
that
it-
was
and
good.
it's good, yeah.
Looking at my
Your
review
notes.
list.
Yeah. Yeah. Leeds is sometimes I'll text him. I'll be,
He's
Yo,
a
did you
movie
see this
connoisseur,
movie?
right?
Trying to think what I saw was good recently. Yeah, hands down 3 Billboards. I mean, all the acting and everything was just top notch. I mean, Woody Harrelson.
Oh my God. So
and
good.
Sam Rockwell, obviously.
What about the
Finally
I,
got
Tonya movie? Did you see
That
I,
was
Tonya?
great. That was
super
great. That was good. Hold on, I'm looking at it
Tonya was
right now.
Did you see Dunkirk?
Dunkirk was great too.
Yeah, Dunkirk was really good.
What's jumping out at me here?
And then we actually did this on our radio show the other day. Like we did 4, but maybe just for sake of time, let's do 2. So I'll do 2. Snuk, you do 2. Leeds, you do 2. 2 movies that were like very influential to you and like changed kind of the way that you watch movies. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
So like for me, I would probably like Nightmare on Elm
That's
Street.
tough.
Nightmare on Elm Street would definitely be one for me, and then I think I went with No Country for Old Men, because No Country for Old Men, when I seen that, I was so impressed that I was like, I need to see every fucking Coen Brothers movie that's ever been made, because I was just so blown away by No Country for Old Men.
I'm such an R-rated comedy guy.
Yeah, you love that
it's weird.
shit.
It's
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
to like that kind of question. I feel like doesn't like lend itself to comedy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
but what do you think? Like, what's like one of your top comedy movies?
oh, well, like one of them, I could give you a million. Fucking
Yeah.
So the craziest theater I've ever been in live for a comedy was probably Borat.
Really?
I don't think I've ever heard a audience like
Laugh the
that
way-
loud, where like you can't even
And
hear
that was
the
a
next lines and
groundbreaking
shit.
film, though. The way I don't
Borat
think a
was
film
next
like that
level.
had ever been done.
Yeah,
where-
at the time.
Yeah.
But like real movies, like non-comedy shit, man, I don't know. Halloween, I'm a Mike Myers guy. I loved Halloween.
Yo, you see the new poster?
I
for
just
that?
saw the new
Oh
poster.
my god! I cannot wait.
That
John
shit looks like it's
Carpenter's
gonna be
involved,
crazy.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
And then obviously when I was a kid, Boys in the Hood fucking changed life as we
Yeah,
know it.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that shit was crazy. But other than that, I'm a comedy guy.
Yeah, me, I'm like hardcore drama,
Yeah, see, I
harsh
do too.
reality.
Yeah,
You know what
me
I mean?
too.
Like
Dive
stuff
right
that
into
I
it.
need stuff that I can relate to and connect to, and the personalities. I mean, I think let's see, my best. I mean, obviously like Pacino and De Niro, like anything that they.
Oh, how did I
did.
not say Goodfellas? Of course I'm gonna say
Yeah,
Goodfellas.
yeah.
I mean, obviously,
it's
Goodfellas.
number one.
Yeah,
it's number
Goodfellas,
one.
yeah.
Goodfellas.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like Scarface and Goodfellas. Like, you know what I mean? That's like
Yeah.
game changing stuff, like crime and like. What's great about those movies is they always made the bad guy like.
Lovable.
Well,
Almost.
it's not lovable, but you like kind of understand why he
Yeah.
is the way he is.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like
Yeah.
human beings are complicated, and like those two actors like have been able to like really bring out like the inner workings of it, the
Right.
complexity of
Yeah.
human emotions. You know, and then obviously, so anything really Pacino and De Niro does on a top-notch scale. I mean, they've obviously made some bad ones.
Did you see Paterno?
Yeah, I did see that. It was great.
Woo!
I didn't see that shit.
Killed that, yo! Oh my god, Al Pacino.
Comedy-wise,
killed
though, Snuk, I'm gonna have to say I'm not a huge fan of like the problem with the comedies is the plots are just fucking
They
brutal.
suck. Yeah.
Cheesy. So it's tough for me to
Like cock. I haven't seen cock blockers. I haven't seen that shit yet.
Yeah,
That's the new one with Cena.
I think it's just called The Blockers.
Well, there's a big ass picture of a cock.
yeah, I think it's just The Blockers.
all right.
My favorite comedy though, hands down, Big Lebowski.
Yeah,
Like
that's
you know
super
what I mean?
classic,
Like
super
that's
classic.
like
That's not one of mine, but
that's
That's super
there's not much
classic.
funnier than that.
Yeah.
Because the characters are just.
Well,
so
I
great.
think there's different type of
MacGruber's
humor.
definitely better.
Yeah, see, he likes that type of.
MacGruber's
like that
next
type of
level
comedy.
all time shit. Let me see, Bruno. Just
So I'll give you a couple
quality.
tops here. I mean, obviously, like Goodfellas, Memento,
Oh, Memento's
Departed,
so good, yeah.
Scarface, Heat,
Is
Casino.
Departed the best Boston movie?
Probably.
Yeah, you think so?
But Gone Baby Gone.
Yeah, Gone
I think
Baby
I think
Gone.
movie wise,
grittier.
I think Gone Baby Gone's more realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But probably Departed is a better movie.
Yeah.
But I
It's
think
just so
Bond-
next level though.
Yeah,
Is
just because
Departed
it's like
better than The Town?
Scorsese,
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Yeah,
Scorsese, Nicholson, like Damon,
yeah,
Wall. You know,
Speaking of great actors, R.I.P. Mini-Me. I don't know if you guys
Yeah,
saw
Vern Troyer passed away.
that. All time.
Yeah.
I remember when the movies came out. Like we and Park were sitting there, and it was like Vern Troyer and Michael Jordan. And we're like, wow, Vern Troyer's really made it, dude.
Yeah,
Full-time
for real.
celebrity, dude.
Hey.
Sitting there with Jordan.
He did his thing. He did, you know what I seen this morning, actually? I seen it today at 11 o'clock in the morning, A Quiet Place. Did
Oh,
you
I
guys
heard that's
see
good.
It is. It's
Nope.
pretty good. So, Snuk,
Oh,
it's
you know
about...
what's real quick though? You know what's a slept-on 978 movie? Well, it's not slept on, but The Fighter.
Oh, so
Fighter, yeah,
good.
yeah.
That's technically
Fighter was good.
978, right?
Technically, it's
Lowell?
low,
Did that
yeah.
win?
Low.
Did that win Picture of the Year that year?
No, Bale won.
Bale won for supporting, I think.
Oh yeah.
And let's not forget Malcolm X. Obviously, that's like
killed that.
that's
Oh,
just
yeah,
like
yeah,
one of the illest movies of all time.
But a Quiet Place, real quick. It takes place in like an apocalyptic world where there's like these creatures that hunt you if they hear you. So
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
survivors have to be mad quiet. So the whole movie.
So you like
is
horror
quiet.
movies?
Oh
huh?
yeah,
he
I'm
loves
a
that
horror.
shit.
I'm a horror fanatic. Yeah.
Do you like? You know, I was thinking of one of the better ones. I remember Tremors back in the
Oh
day.
yeah.
Oh, is
yeah,
that the
yeah.
shit that
oh
comes
my
on the
God,
ground?
It's kind of
Yeah,
the same.
yeah.
It's kind
That
of
was
the
the
same
illest shit,
thing.
yeah. That's what made me think of that.
But
That's
this movie
scary
is
shit.
so quiet that it like literally makes you self-conscious because you can hear yourself like
Yeah.
every time you chew. Like everybody can hear it. It was.
Remember that same movie? Don't say a sound, don't make a noise. What was the one with
Don't
the
say a word.
Yeah, don't
I
say a
believe.
word,
Yeah,
yeah.
don't say a word. Yeah, that was alright.
the guy's got the girl trapped in the basement?
Yeah, it's the
That's
thing about
that's really disturbing.
Yeah, the thing about horror movies is it's like
Again,
it's kind of
bad
like
plots.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I
It's
mean?
kind of
Like,
like it's kind of like hip hop sometimes, where like anybody thinks they can do it, and like
So they do it.
you get a
Horror
lot of
movies were
shit.
so ill back in the day because I remember as a kid going to the video store, right?
Oh,
And the video
my God.
stores, like the mom and pop video stores in your
Yeah.
local neighborhood.
Yup.
Like the horror movies were so. That was back in the day with the boxes. They put
Oh,
all the graphic horror on the box.
Oh my god!
Like
that
you'd be
was
like,
yeah.
Extra
blood
big
and
boxes.
guts all over.
Yeah,
I remember this
yeah.
one where this woman's like being like sprawled out and like blood and ripped open, and that was the cover.
Yeah.
that was the cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that shit's
Right
so
next to the
hard.
porno with the curtain.
Yeah, right there.
NCH.
Right.
Yo, we were talking earlier a little about like Bad Baby and shit. Like, what about Leedz? Does Leedz have like a guilty pleasure, like artists that probably we wouldn't think you would fuck with?
Not
Like,
with hip hop, man.
Not with hip hop. It's just
Not
straightforward.
with hip hop, man. No. Other music maybe, but not with hip hop.
Are you
man.
still listening to rock? Are you still?
Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
still
yeah.
checking
I
out?
do a playlist on Spotify called Love, Pain, and Music, which I showcases all music I listen to, because that's really where my brain is at these days. I mean, I love hip hop, but it's not all hip hop. Like
Yeah.
for 20 something years, it was just all I
That's
did,
it.
right?
Yeah.
But I came from a background of like Bob Dylan and like, jazz from my grandfather. And like, I think that's where I get my hip hop roots from because my grandfather was a jazz drummer. So he always loved the beat.
shit, yeah.
So that's why like hip hop for me was like the beat, right? So like the boom bap and the hard hitting drums with the bass. So like that was like, I could connect with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so now I like rock, and now I like listen to everything now, and it just keeps me more because I book everything now at the Middle East, so I gotta stay sharp on other music as well.
Now, when is the last time Leedz shit himself? Does Leedz have a great shot story or no?
I don't know, man. I can't really remember.
Has it been that
can't
long?
Honestly, if it
I've
was
almost. I could tell you, I've run to the bathroom a few times, but like, no, I haven't really.
You really got a hold on
I
it. huh?
haven't sharded.
me, literally.
I always think of that scene, and when you talk about that, I always think about that scene, and along comes Paulie.
Paulie, yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, rest in peace. He's like, dude,
That's it,
we gotta leave the party right now.
sharded.
I just sharded in my pants. Went to fart, and a little bit of crap just
A
came
little
out.
bit of shit came out. Yeah.
I think we should.
Raindrops.
I think we should wrap with this. I think we should wrap with the.
We definitely can't rap with that.
Because I
on
gotta
that.
piss.
I definitely can't rap on that one.
Why don't you just speak on real quick? I've noticed Eminem just celebrated yesterday, actually, 10 years recovery. I believe you just celebrated 9.
Yeah, 9 years. Yeah.
Slane has now gotten sober. Royce the 5'9" is
Stiz
now
Grimey.
sober. Stiz Grimey is somewhere.
Southie Sober. Southie Sober.
That's what Slane
Stiz
always says.
I'm
I'm still
I'm
getting it in,
Chelsea
but I
sober.
feel like I have a
There's
plethora of
nothing
guys.
sober about you.
Yeah,
There's nothing sober about you. We were talking about recovery, and Stuck's
And
like,
he's
yo, man, I need a beer.
And I'm like, I have a plethora of people like you guys around me for when I'm ready and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. That's what I was about to say. When you're ready, you know.
Yeah, Crooked Eye. I seen a video of Crooked Eye. Oh, P.S. Crooked Eye announced
just
he's
left the
leaving
group. Yeah, I saw
Slaughterhouse.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
He said in
Makes
his
more
reasoning,
sense with 3 anyway.
You think so?
Yeah, it's easy to make records that way
you
too.
can't. It's tough
3
to get 4 people on a
verses.
song.
Yeah,
4
yeah,
people on a
yeah.
song.
But his explanation for leaving Slaughterhouse, he said, "I'm
about
sober
butter, no?
and I want to rap." And
Oh, okay.
Slaughterhouse just isn't rapping right now.
Okay.
That's literally what he said.
Yeah.
All right, I thought it was something to do with Joe.
So
I read.
why don't you just real quick reflect on, like what made you want to get especially in this game, man? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it was because of this game, really.
It's tough.
Sped things up.
real quick, we never touched on, and I wanted to ask you. I Hook, because I'm friends with Hook, who you also
Yeah,
do work with.
yeah, I still manage
He
Hook.
told me that you used to have, you used to live around here, and
No,
you
no.
used to have a studio or something,
no.
and it was like fucking popping.
Well,
You guys
popping
would
is a
be
tough word.
all-nighters,
Yeah, that's
just-
when it got bad. Like that's towards the end of my run. But yeah, I had a studio. I lived in Hyde Park, and I had lived above a sub shop, so I didn't really have any neighbors. And I built a little home studio in there where we do all our pre-production recording, and then we take it to the big studio and
Yeah.
get mixed and mastered. But yeah, we'd be like leaving the show, we'd be drinking at the show, and then we go after the after party back to the studio. Let's record, you know, and then break out the blow and break out the coke and the weed and this, and it just. And then, all of a sudden your whole environment is just drugs and alcohol, right? Because I'm in the clubs all the time. And like, I'm an addict. So like, it's always been an issue, but being in the music business definitely sped the whole thing up way faster.
Sure, yeah.
So like, by the time I was 29, it was like, I can't stop. You know what I mean? Like, and like this, and my environment's not going to change because like
This is what you do.
because this is what I do, and like I'm in bars aren't going to stop selling alcohol, and there's not people with drugs aren't going to stop showing up. So like I have to change, and like I come from a long family of like addiction, of like and death and destruction. So I knew what was waiting. So like to me, it was just one of those nights where it was like one final bender, after trying to stop a million times on my own. I just said, I just looked in the mirror and I was like, enough is enough, because I'm just going to die.
And Leedz was an influence for you, Stiz, or not?
Yeah, when I first started, when I was trying to get clean, I would literally hit Leedz up, and I thank you for that, man. Seriously, on a personal level.
It would have been mad funny though if he was
That's
like,
what
nah.
we do, though.
Nah, fuck
really.
you.
Well, that's the thing about recovery, though. Is like
to keep it, you gotta give it away.
Yeah, you have to help people.
Yeah,
and that's like the humility of it all, because it's a self-centered disease. So like, if I'm not helping you, I'm not carrying the message. You know what I mean? So it's like I got to do that. So you have the message of recovery.
And it's funny, man. It's like, getting fucked up isn't like. It's almost like being like clean is like the new cool. I really
wouldn't say that.
I don't know.
Definitely
it's
nothing
like,
cool about that shit.
But like being
I know what
healthy,
you're saying.
fucking eating good, like I just feel like we're, it's not
definitely
like
a
it
move.
was before.
It's definitely cooler than destroying your life and
sure.
your body.
No shit, for sure. No
Way cooler,
shit.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people that can have
shit.
one or, whatnot, or use recreational where it's not a problem, I commend them.
That's my problem. Once I pop, I can't stop. You were the same way, I'm
It's a
assuming.
compulsion of,
Yeah.
It's a compulsion of, and that's the reality I had to come to, is that I just can't do this anymore. And like the plus side is like, and the scary thing is I didn't think I could be in the music business sober.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think that was humanly possible.
I didn't think so.
funny,
either.
yeah.
I didn't think I could
So
get on
true.
stage.
How do you even listen to music without getting high?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
How do you be around other people and shit?
that was the biggest thing. Is like that's my favorite thing. I was like getting high and listening to
Right,
hip hop.
right.
So like now I can't do that. Like what the hell am I going to do this? But the reality was that was all fear. That was an illusion that I believed, and my life got 10 times better.
Everybody
Everything
says
got
that
better.
shit too.
Everything got better.
Yeah.
But it's like breaking.
Slang will tell you that. Everybody tells
It's
you that.
breaking a bad habit. You know what I mean? And like I probably would not be in the music business today if I didn't get clean and sober.
Really?
No, I would not. I was
You don't think it
dead.
would have lasted?
Like he wouldn't have lasted this
Dead
long.
or
yeah.
burned my 18th, 100th bridge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my life wasn't going anywhere spectacularly good. You know what I mean? I achieved things. Yeah, you read about me in the paper. Yeah, I was in full time in the music business. Yeah. But those things were all heading out the window.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be 9 years sober in this game.
That's what's up, man. Leedz,
Dope.
we want to thank you so much for sitting down with us, man. Say what you want about the fucking guy, but he's been consistent.
He's the guy. He's in his
He's
king
the guy
throne
to
for a
see,
reason.
and I think he's had nothing but the best intentions at heart the whole time. And he's a true hip hop fucking head. And we salute you and thank you for everything that you've done for this little community of ours, and continue to do for this little
And
community
the
of ours.
Eastern Standard tape is out.
Go check that.
May
It's,
18th.
May
Release party
18th.
June 2nd.
At
Shameless
Leedz-
plug.
Yeah, get it in
Let's
there,
do
bro. At Leedz Edu, right?
Leedz Edutainment.com. Not Leedz Entertainment. Leedz Edutainment.
We at Stuck on Stuff podcast on Instagram, at Stuck on Stuff on Twitter, at StuckOnStuffPodcast at gmail.com. I'm Stiz Grimey on everything.
I'm Superstah Snuk on everything.
And we out. Peace.
All right.